Well, I'm here with someone who should be very familiar to viewers of Inside Xbox. It's Cliff Bleszinski, and we're here obviously to talk about Bulletstorm from your friends at People Can Fly.
They've been working very, very hard on it, and the demo has been received very well, which makes me cautiously optimistic we might have a hit.
Now with the demo, it's obviously a sample of Echoes mode. Is that the way that works in the full game as well, that you just get a section from the campaign for you to play through as much as you want?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. It takes snippets from the campaign and kind of removes a lot of the story elements, some of the scripted elements, and just focuses on the core combat of what makes Bulletstorm and the skill shot system great. The section in the demos in the collapsed building, which I don't want to spoil too much about the campaign, but it's really a great roller coaster ride throughout this planet of Stygia and what Grayson Hunt goes through in order to try and actually get off the planet, and the enemies that he encounters in the different scenarios. And the beauty is when you play Echoes in the full game, you select your weapons. So right now everybody is figuring out all these different configurations to get to like 22,000 in the score, only using 3 main weapons. What's going to happen in the mix when you have the full set of weapons in the game, and there's so many different ways to get scores? I mean, I think we're providing almost this kind of viral score competition where people are posting YouTube links and we're retweeting high scores, and you're getting this great kind of expansion into like social networking from the game and from the high scores.
And that's it, the skill shot element is such a genius inclusion. I mean, I found myself actually playing through, pausing when I get to a certain enemy and almost running through a mental checklist.
Oh,
okay, whatever, well, basically.
In combat, there is no pause. I mean, time may slow down, but you can't actually pause. But that's what, I mean, Adrian and the guys were working on is making you rethink how you play a shooter, and I think in many ways how Gears made you to actually take cover for once. I think Bulletstorm is making you almost become kind of like a pool player, setting up skill, like, you know, trick shots and seeing how you can jump the cue ball over and hit the 8 ball. Well, now you're just knocking a mutant over into a cactus. It's a similar kind of thing, a little bloodier.
I thought that was quite a surprising aspect of the demo as well, that even in Echoes you have your 2 kind of cohorts alongside you. I mean, were they included purely to kind of be there to drive the story along? I mean, or is it also to kind of give some sense to the multiplayer mode as well, that there are other people?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
it's not like Dead Rising 2 where suddenly a second Chuck appears for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's a multifaceted thing in regards to having different characters with you. In a campaign, it's fundamentally useful to have somebody else to shoot at the enemies to point out where they are, right? Like, it's by shooting and having tracers go at it, like, oh, there's a guy over there, I guess Ishii's shooting at him, right? It's also there to build character. Like, if Grayson was a guy who's alone on this planet, I mean, he doesn't really have a lot of people to play off of besides the crazy mutants that he's fighting, right? So you build a relationship with Ishii, see how that evolves, and then once Trishka gets involved, things get really, really interesting, because she's one of my favorite female characters that's been depicted in video games over the last few years. She can certainly hold her own.
Yeah, she doesn't take any nonsense, does she?
She doesn't, and she was definitely depicted to be attractive, but not stripper type of proportions, because we as game developers, you know, we don't always paint with the most subtle brushes, especially when it comes to our male characters or our violence, but I'd like to continue as a studio, Epic and our partners, to depict females in games fairly and, you know, attractive but not crazy over the top.
You really need a breath mint.
And what do you think, you know, the ultimate upshot is going to be of Bulletstorm's release? I think in the demo will have surprised quite a few other game developers when they've played it. I mean, do you think it's going to give, you know, the first-person shooter a bit of a kick up the ass?
I think the first-person shooter genre could always use a kick up the ass. You know, I love all these military shooters that we're seeing, but they're starting to blur together a little bit. And I think it's time to have a game that just doesn't take itself too seriously, slightly reinvents how you play a shooter. And suddenly, after you play Bulletstorm and you go play another shooter, you're going to be thinking, wait, could I do something more interesting here in regards to lining these guys up and getting some sort of a X-ray shish kebab with my PMC charge shot, and have a sense of humor with it, because humor is hard. And I think a lot of people try to pattern match this game to Duke Nukem just because you kick people and there's humor. That's largely where the similarities end. There's a lot more, you know, Duke is amazing and I'm looking forward to it, but I think this game has enough awesome features to stand on its own as a new game.